Okay, good morning, Vinita. Waiting for some more to join quickly. So today we are going to continue our quiz on King Tut because, as you know, term one most of the questions from I mean in almost all the subjects will be multiple choice questions. So we've got to practice multiple choice questions more and more so that our score improves in multiple choice questions. And moreover, it is very important for us to score score good marks in the exam. Multiple choice questions are difficult because in subjective type questions, even if your answer is not 100% correct, but you write something related, in that case you shall be awarded marks. But when it comes to multiple choice questions, there is no scope of giving you marks if you go wrong anywhere. Okay, either the answer should be correct, you'll be getting marks, or zero for no, not for not being correct. So there is no scope of marks in MCQ provided you don't know the answer or unless you answer it correctly, right? But in subjective type questions, there is a provision of getting some marks in the form of step marking or say for example uh, part marking, right? But here in multiple choice question, there is no such privilege with us. That is why we need to take it seriously. And this particular quiz session that we are continuing today is not so challenging, of course, in nature. It's almost easy. We shall do challenging later on. Today or now, we shall focus on somewhat easy, moderately easy ones. Actually, okay. So let's start our discussion today, dear students. So the previous class I just started, and then somehow the time went out of thing was almost over, so I couldn't continue. So let me begin. At what age did King Tut become a king? So some of you said 10, some of you 14, 20. So what is your answer? Can you please let me know with the help of with the help of the chat box? Can you please let me know the correct answer of this particular question? Ahmad Khan says it's 9 years, right? So, okay, I shall go with Ahmad. It's correct. Okay, it's a correct question. Second, next one is the first from the first room. It should be room. The first room of the king's tomb was called. The first room of the king's tomb was called burial chamber, antechamber, annex chamber, or treasury. Which one you tell me? The first room of the king's tomb was called, is it burial chamber, antechamber, annex chamber, and treasury? So if you like to write the options, like you write in this particular structure, A, B, C, D. Okay, horizontal structure, you tell me the answer. A, B, C, D. So which one do you think should be the correct answer? So Sreyash Murdula are saying A. So I shall go with A. Is absolutely correct. The first room of king's chamber is called the burial chamber. Next, why did Amenhotep call himself Akhenaten? Because he became ruler of Egypt. He worshipped at Athens. Every Egyptian changed his or her name as an adult. I advised him to change his name. Okay, so why did Amenhotep call himself Akhenaten? He became ruler of Egypt. He worshipped Athens. Uh, every Egyptian changed his or her name as an adult. A advised him to change his name. Which one do you think should be the correct answer? So 3B Modula. So it's absolutely correct. It seems as he worshipped, as Amenhotep worshipped Athens, therefore there was a tradition in those days, whoever god you follow, their name, his or her name should be after your name. So that is why Aken, Aten here means God. Okay. Next question, dear students, as you can see, how are Amun and Aten similar? Amun and Aten, they are gods actually, okay, worshipped by the people of Egypt, okay, and Amun and Aten had very good followers, okay. So let's find out how these two gods, Amun and Aten, are similar. How are these two gods similar? They both advised King Tut during his reign. They were both depicted with golden circles. They were the most important gods at the beginning of the new kingdom. They were the most important gods at the. Okay, so first, second, and third, you see fourth option appears to be almost the same as the third one. So you answer among A, B, and C. They both advised King Tut during his reign. They were both depicted with golden circles. They were the most important gods at the beginning of the new kingdom. Right. So A, B, C, because this is repeated actually. Section option C is repeated in D as well. Therefore, please leave out this one. A, B, C. Out of this A, B, C, you tell me which one is the answer. So, uh, third, no? Is it third one? We're talking about fourth one, right? Fourth one. So, fourth one you tell. So, Vinita and Mudula are saying B. Okay, what about the rest of you? Let me see. What about rest of you? Sreyash also is saying or in favor of. Sreyash also is in favor of B. Okay, is there any alternative answer, dear students, so that so is there any alternative answer, dear students, or you shall go with B only? Amar Khan says C. Okay, Amar Khan says C. So I shall go with Ahmar because he appears to be correct. Oh no. Helped archaeologists. It translated hieroglyphics in two languages. It led them to discover more tombs and provided them artifacts from the past. It explained how King Tut died, and it provided them with artifacts from the past. So, which option do you think is the correct one for this question? How has the discovery of King Tut's tomb helped archaeologists? Mrudula says 5B. Okay, so um, let's see some other children. You please text me so that I can go ahead with the answer. Uh, Pramanshu, you are late. Kirti, you are late. You should log in immediately, exactly at 9:50. Okay. Amar said D. Okay. What about rest of you, dear students? Rest of you, I'd like to see your answer as well. Mrudula and Ahmed have different options, have selected different options as their answers. Like Mrudula says it's B and Ahmed says it's D. Shreya and Pramanshu all are saying B. Okay, so as number of B is more, let me go with B then. Let's see what happens. Uh, yes, it's correct. It led them to discover more tombs. Okay, what happened after King Tut's reign? Reign means his rule. Understood? Reign here refers to his rule. So, what happened after King Tut's reign? The capital city was returned to Thebes. Egyptians could only worship Aten. All temples were destroyed in Egypt. Four unknown rulers took the Egyptian throne. So, what happened after King Tut's reign? The capital city was returned to Thebes. Egyptians could only worship Athens. All temples were destroyed in Egypt. Four unknown rulers took the Egyptian throne. So it is also somewhat challenging, dear students. So you need to depend on some guesswork, of course, here. Uh, but let me see. Shreyashan, Pramanshu, Vinita, MR, all are saying, no, MR and Mudula are saying 1, A, but majority of you are saying B, Ahmad Khan, A. So let's see. If I click on A, it is a correct answer. The capital city was returned to Thebes. Okay. So capital city was changed actually. It was returned to Thebes. Next, Tutankhamun rules in the Dash Egyptian dynasty. 18th, 10th, first, last. So Tutankhamun rules in which dynasty? Is it 18th, 10th, first, and last? So let me wait for your answer. Do you have any idea about the answer, dear students? If you have, you can text me quickly, and of course also write the question name. Mudula says 7A, Sania Fule also A, Ahmar A, Ria A. So let me go with A. 18th Egyptian dynasty. Okay, so Tutankhamun rules in the 18th Egyptian dynasty. It is a correct answer. 18th Egyptian dynasty. Please do remember. Now, Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered in the Valley of the Bandits, the Valley of the Rich, the Valley of the Egyptians, the Valley of the other kings. So, which one do you think is the correct answer? Tutankhamun's tomb. Tutankhamun's tomb. Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered in the Valley of Bandits, Valley of the Rich, Valley of the Egyptians, or the Valley of the Kings. So, which one do you think is the correct answer? Like Harsh and Modula says it's D, 8D, right? Ria, Ahmad, Srayash, all are saying D. Okay, so I shall go with D because it appears to be the correct answer, right? Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered in the Valley of the Kings. Okay, Valley of the Kings, dear students, you must be knowing. Valley of the Kings is a place where kings are given burial, right? Kings are given burial. This is called Valley of the King. Next, Tutankhamun's tomb was discovered by who discovered Tutankhamun's tomb? Was it John Carter, Howard Carter, John Sinnett, and Alexander Smith? It's a very easy question to answer if you have gone through the text. It's very simple. It's not at all a challenging question. So let me see. Sresh has come up with the answer. Let me see what others say. What is the opinion of others? I'd like to see now. Like Shreyash or Ria, Murdula, they are saying, all are saying almost B, right? Howard Carter. So everyone, it seems, are in the same opinion. Only Harsh is saying A. Rest all are B. So shall I wait for some other students to respond? So I shall go with the majority of you, that is Howard Carter is the correct answer, dear students. Your answer is absolutely correct. Where did King Tut rule? He ruled in Egypt, Italy, Greece, Afghanistan. It's very, very simple and very easy question. It's not at all challenging. Where did King Tut rule? Egypt, Italy, Greece, and Afghanistan. Which one do you think is the correct answer? Vinita says B. Sreyash A, Mudula A, Harsh Dal A. But Vinita says B. No, Vinita, you are not correct. It is Egypt which is the correct answer because King Tut was born in Egypt. So, dear students, we have one. Our score is 90%. Okay. So, dear students, those who are new, for them, I am just revising what is this story all about. The story is an account of the mystery surrounding the boy King Tut. So, King Tut died at a very young age, okay, and he died under mysterious circumstances. As a result, dear students, there was a lot of research on King Tut. Why was there so much research on King Tut? Because King Tut died at a very young age, and since his death there was no discovery done, okay, or made. So only after the machine was produced, only after the science became advanced, that the archaeologists and the doctors started doing a research on King Tut's untimely death, right? So being the last heir to the most powerful family that ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries, Tut was laid to rest, laden with gold, and eventually forgotten after his reign of about 9 years. Okay, so he ruled for 9 years, and after he ruled for nine years, he was put to rest because he died under mysterious circumstances, right? And he was the last heir to the most powerful family that ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. So he was the last heir to the most powerful family. Okay, very young. He was the last heir. His tomb was discovered by a British archaeologist called Howard Carter in 1922. Okay, so please do remember the name of the year also, 1922. So King Tut's tomb was discovered by a British archaeologist. Okay, Howard Carter in 1922. It also describes how a CT scan was performed on the king's mummy and interesting facts were revealed. Okay, this lesson also describes how a CT scan was performed on the king's mummy and interesting facts were revealed. Okay, so these are some of the details, some of the facts which were uh, discussed in the lesson, right? So let us go paragraph wise in a nutshell. Tutankhamun or King Tut, the another name of King Tut is Tutankhamun or King Tut is was only his in his teens when he died. Okay, he was very young when he died. He was just teens. He was the last heir of a powerful dynasty that ruled Egypt for centuries. He was buried laden with gold. So there was a custom in those days, dear students, that if someone died, a lot of wealth was given. Everything that he used to wear, everything that he used to use in his everyday life, so everything was given in the coffins, okay, or in the funeral box with the dead body, right? So he was buried laden with gold because in everyday life he used to wear gold. He used to, use a lot of gold and was eventually forgotten with time. So it was a tradition, dear students, after the death in Egypt, whatever you will wear, whatever you shall use in your everyday life, everything that you were in touch with will be given with the dead body in the coffin or in the funeral box. That was the tradition. So why was this followed? This was followed because they believed in the life after death. Okay, so the Egyptians used to believe in after death life. That is why they thought that if everything, whatever the king used to wear or used to use, are given with the dead body, it means the next birth also he will have the privilege to use such things in his lifetime. So that was the concept basically for which they have given. They used to give every rich, every thing that the king used to wear or king used to uh, use in his lifetime. Understood? So that was basically the reason why the king Tut or any other king for that matter from Egypt was given a lot of wealth, a lot of lot of things which he used to use in his lifetime because they believed in afterlife as well, after death life as well, rebirth. They believed in the concept of rebirth. Next, after about 3,300 years, his tomb was discovered in 1922. Okay, so can you imagine, dear students, after about 3,300 years, his tomb was discovered in 1922 when there was speculation about his untimely death. When there was speculation about his untimely death. Okay, there was some speculation that he died untimely. Again, after more than 80 years, his body was taken out of the tomb and put through a CT scan. Right. After more than 80 years, can you imagine? First of all, it was his tomb was discovered in 1922, right? Then there was not much of might be medical invention was not happening. There was not much of archaeological advancement, so it was again buried after it was discovered. Again, after more than 80 years, his body was taken out of the tomb and put through a CT scan. Can you imagine? This event exposed some startling facts about his life and death. So, dear students, can you imagine? Can you just imagine how scientific was the process of giving burial? Okay, in those days, they have used so many things, so many preservatives in the coffin that even after 3,300 years, even more than that, the dead body At least the bones were found. The intact bones were found. The body structure was found. Otherwise, in modern day, the way the modern day is given coffin, modern day dead body was given or put in the coffin. You shall not find even the bones after say around 100 years, for example. You will not even find the bones. But here, 3,300 years, and you can watch on YouTube that his bones were all intact, right? So, can you imagine how scientific were the people in ancient time when they used so good preservatives for which the body was still, the muscles, the ribs are still preserved, right? So very much scientific was their way of preserving the dead body, or keeping the dead body intact for many years. Anyway, now you see, uh, dear students, next para 2. A strong dusty wind blew when King Tut was taken out of his tomb in the ancient cemetery of Egyptian royals called the Valley of the Kings. Okay, so Valley of the Kings is the cemetery where all the kings of Egypt were given burial. Okay, it is called Valley of the Kings. So when King Tut's body was taken out of his tomb, some unnatural things happened. Strong dusty wind was blowing. Strong dusty wind. In the evening of the fifth day of January 2005, the world's most famous mummy was put through CT scanner. So first his body was discovered, coffin was discovered in 1922, and then as science was not so advanced, as archaeology was not so advanced, so what happened? It was put to the soil back. Okay, it was put back in the soil. But again, when the medicine became advanced, when science became advanced, archaeology became advanced, what happened? Again in 1920, after 80 years, 2005, again his tomb was discovered. Okay, again it was taken out of his tomb and then put through a CT scan. This event exposed some startling facts about his life and death. What was that? We shall find out. Okay, it was done with the intention of proving into the unraveled mystery shrouding the little understood young ruler who died more than 3,000 years ago. Okay, so why was the CT scan done? CT scan was done on King Tut with the intention of proving into the unraveled mystery shrouding the little understood young ruler who died more than 3,000 years ago. Right? Then para 3 you see, tourists from all across the world went to Egypt to know more about King Tut. Lot of people came from other parts of the world. Lot of tourists came, lot of scientists came, lot of archaeologists came, reporters came, uh, tourists came to see this procedure, to see this process. They went into the rock cut tomb. They went into the rock cut tomb some 25 feet underground. Some 25 feet underground, um, they went 25 feet underground. Can you imagine? From there, his body was taken out again. They gazed at the murals and paintings on the walls of the burial chamber. So, the burial chamber underground, there is a room. So, there were a lot of paintings done there. There were a lot of paintings. So, it was their culture when they used to give burial in the underground chamber. There, the walls of the underground chamber would be painted. Okay, so a lot of murals, paintings on the walls of the burial chamber and at the king's gilded face. Gilded means golden face. Some read in whispers from the guidebooks, others stood silently pondering over the truth of a belief in the pharaoh's cars. Okay, so those tourists, those people who came to see, to become a witness to this process, they were also reading from guidebooks, and others stood silently thinking about what would happen now, like because there is a belief that if the dead bodies are taken out of the burial ground, then what happens? Then what happens? Then uh, then they get cards also. Okay, so people are thinking about different things, okay, as per their belief. Okay, so dear students, uh, this is what I have told you now, like this is the summary actually what I am saying. Okay, in case you require full explanation of the text, once again let me know, okay, so that I can I can at least refer to some important paragraphs which are important for multiple choice question and questions for term 1, right? Because I've already finished, you can refer to the video of the explanation of the text. Now what I can do is I can explain you only those important paragraphs which are very much important for multiple choice questions as well as for term 1 exams, right? So these are some of the, you can say, snapshots, some of the important value points from para 1, para 2, para 3, para 4, all this, right? So you see para 4 up to para 5 we will study and then we will wind up. Para 4, you see, the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, Jahi Hawass, leaned over the mummy to have the first long look and commented that it was in a very bad condition, right? So why? Because two times his body was taken out from the coffin, number one. Number two, in 2005 when body was taken out, Howard Carter, the British archaeologist, he did some damage to the coffin because the dead body was not coming out. Okay, it was so very much tight with the resin which was used on the coffin. He had to apply some legitimate force to bring it out. He had to keep it under the hot sun, but nothing worked. So they had to chisel out some parts of the mummy so that the mummy can be taken out of the coffin for examination. So that is why Jahi Hawass said that a lot of damage was done on the mummy. British archaeologist Howard Carter was the first to discover the elusive tomb of Tutankhamun. Okay, so he was the first British archaeologist who discovered the elusive tomb of Tutankhamun. The contents of this tomb remain the richest royal collection till date and have become part of the pharaoh's legend. Means whatever was found inside the tomb, okay, was considered to be the richest ever royal collection till that time. Understood? And therefore it has become a legend because lot of things were given when he was given burial. Lot of things of his everyday life, gold, silver, whatever he used to use, everything, even the everyday thing that he used to wear or use was also given. That is why from his tomb the contents were the richest ever royal collection found. Okay. Besides brilliant artifacts in gold, he was buried with everyday things that he might require in afterlife. Then in paragraph we come to know about these facts. Carter began investigating Tut's three-tier coffin. So King Tut was having three-tier coffin, and it took him months to record the pharaoh's burial treasures. Okay, so uh, Howard Carter took months, not only 1 month, okay, many months together. He was working on counting the burial treasures, the funeral treasures. Okay, like so many things were given with in the coffin that Carter started counting them, and it took him months together. When he opened the first coffin, he found a shroud decorated with garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflower. See, these this much they are also used as preservatives, dear students. Okay, so that dead body does not decay fast. So a lot of preservatives were used: garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflower. The presence of these flowers is very vague reference to a funeral that took place in springtime. Okay, so because flowers were available, so that is why springtime might be. In the coffin that held the king's mummified body, Carter faced a big problem. They had used a sticky substance called resin in the funeral. Okay, so in the funeral, they used a sticky substance called resin, and which got stuck on the ground on the burial floor. As a result, it was very difficult for uh, Carter and others to separate dead body from the coffin. Over thousands of years, the resin had cemented mummy to the bottom of the coffin. Okay, over thousands of years, because it's more than 3,300 years later, his coffin was discovered. Can you imagine? The resin had cemented the mummy so much, okay, that it was difficult to take his mummy, King Tut's mummy, out of the box. So, dear students, we shall wind up here today, and we shall continue with some. First, we shall finish this in the next class, and then we shall go ahead with some of the important paragraphs from this lesson, so that you can prepare for your examination in a better way. Okay, dear students, bye bye, take care, and have a nice